Courage. The light bulb went off. It went off, and he said, wait a minute. Walk into a dark room, light bulb goes on, and you're going to just ignore the fact that you can see now? Look at what you can see. Light bulbs. You see, the key is it's your light bulb. It's not theirs. It's what you will do with your life that will impact the others. It's the light that you shine. It's the light that you are that will illuminate the way for others. The question is, are you going to keep your light hidden under a basket? Don't tell me that everybody in this room doesn't have a desire to do something significant with their life. And you have the ability to do something significant in the lives of those that are trying to make a significant impact in this world, and you can help them with the journey of their affluence, and you know the light bulb's going off. What are you going to do about it? At this point in our 3-day event, usually we have what I call mental momentum. You're starting to get it. You're starting to feel it. You're starting to say, I can do this. It's starting to make sense. You're starting to, like when I first started flying planes, I used to line up on the taxiway. And I'd be coming in, and the instructor would be like, you're lined up on the taxiway for landing. I'm like, oh yeah. We move over a little bit. And then I say, he told me I'd be a great Navy pilot because I had great I could land on the numbers all day long. I couldn't have a nice soft landing, but I could come straight down the runway on the numbers. And then one day, it just all started to click. It started to make sense. I said, I can do this. And then within, just a few years, I was flying aerobatics. I was doing dogfighting. I was flying everything I could get my hands on because it clicked. But are you going to ignore that? Do not tell me we are not moving and stirring you. Raise your hand right now if nothing has happened to you since you've been here. The question is, what are you going to do with it? What's the light bulb going to do? Where is it going to stop? Does it have to stop, or can it illuminate a brand new way for you to lead others? Monday was very metaphorical. Today we got very granular. I was very pragmatic, and we showed you processes. Tomorrow we're going to give you the heartbeat that runs the engine that is the car that we're putting you in when you grab onto that wheel. If you leave the way you feel today in this room, I promise you one thing, nothing will change. Courage or comfort? Do you want your epitaph? Do you want it to say, here lies Bob, he had a comfortable life? What? Please, if mine ever says that, just dig me up, throw me in a trash can somewhere, and don't let anybody ever see my tombstone. I was in Washington, D.C. with my daughter for 8th grade trip, and I sat there, and I could not believe, if you haven't been to the JFK, where they buried him, and read everything, that man, I don't care who you, Democrat, Republican, Republicat, I don't care what you are. Amazing. Don't tell me he wasn't courageous. So, what are we going to do with the life? You were given a life on purpose by design. And a purpose-driven life is the life that inspires others. And I don't want to hear, we're just CPAs. This is a CPA thing. It's a family office thing talking about taking care of families. The heartbeat of this world is the existence of the family. And there are families being torn apart all over the world today because they're chasing success and nobody's helping them with their significance. They're dragging their family behind them up the corporate ladder, up the ladder to get to somewhere. And like Kate Spade and like Robin Williams, they get to the top of that ladder and they're checking out. That's their life. That's their story. You have an ability right now as a family office to impact families for generations. That's not a bad life. The light bulb goes off. It's purpose we're talking about. I want to read this. This is one of my favorite books, Life Mastery by Bob Schenck. And he says, and just bear with me, the value of purpose, chapter 3, okay? And in the value of purpose, it starts out, it says, in contemporary American society, most people derive their purpose from their activities, rather than deriving their activities from their purpose. You are because of what you do, they think, and that's backwards. Any building of value begins with thoughtful design. The architect produces a set of drawings and specifications for a building based on the intent of the structure and the distinctiveness of its site. Construction elements are chosen in keeping with the plans so that everything comes together to form a truly unique expression of form and function. Should a life be any less thoughtfully constructed? A purpose statement is to life what the architect's model is to the edifice. It gives the rendering in advance of the final product as expressed by the designer. A blueprint follows in which every goal and activity is chosen in keeping with how it will contribute to the overall scheme. Imagine calling some contractors and workmen to converge on a construction site with no architectural plans. The finest carpentry job will be meaningless if it's not integrated with every other element of the process. Excellence in details will be devoid of importance if the finished composite is valueless. Great buildings are not so designated because of their quality of their parts, but by how those qualities pieces fit together in harmony and precision as one. Great plans are more important than great pieces. In fact, average elements can combine to become magnificent cathedrals. Excellence in the details will be devoid of importance if the finished composite is valued. I wanted to repeat that again, because here's an interesting exercise. Get a pencil and jot down 6 of the greatest names in history. Let me prime the pump. Thomas Edison, Clara Barton, Shakespeare, Joan of Arc, Lincoln, Luther, Galileo, King David. Get the picture? Got a list? Let me ask you a question Let me ask you a question or two about the names on your list. One of them distinguishes them. What distinguishes them from the other? What do you know of their incomes? How about their marital possessions? Can you tell me their hobbies or recreational preferences? Chances are all the names of the people on your list are known for a singular cause or contribution they made to the civilization and history. I doubt there are any generalists on your list, any people who did a lot of things in an above average way, but did nothing exceptionally well. I expect that most of them were single-minded, driven, and sold out to a particular end for which they gave their all. With regards to their holdings and financial accomplishments, chances are you would have to bury yourself in a library to get a fuzzy answer. Consider the following statement. The great men and women of history were not great because of what they owned or earned, but rather for what they gave their lives to accomplish. The one name that belongs on your list, if he isn't there already, some say, he was the most incredible figure of all time. That's really amazing because he lived and died without writing a book. He didn't lead an army, didn't father a family or start a company. He never even traveled beyond the borders of a small country. His name is Jesus of Nazareth. No life ever demonstrated commitment to purpose more powerful than Jesus Christ. No life ever demonstrated the compound impact of purpose more than his. No person ever demonstrated the tranquility and peace that attends the purpose-driven approach more than Jesus. The records of his life, written by 4 men from different perspectives, display his exquisite expression of purpose and mission in a way that makes perfect sense. You might think this book is written only for people who already identify themselves as Christians, whatever that term may mean to you. Let me assure you, if that is your status, this fresh expose of the distinctiveness seen throughout the high-impact years of the earthly life of Jesus will be the basis for some extraordinary discoveries. Or maybe Christian-friendly, but not yet a card-carrying follower of Jesus. I'm not the first to probe the effect approaches employed by historic leaders with intent to translate their strategies into contemporary expression. From the late Steve Jobs, 21st century technology visionary, to the ancient Chinese military strategist and philosopher Sun Tzu, the lessons derived from prior players whose names are now enshrined in culture line the shelves in the business sections of modern bookstores. Wherever you place yourself on the faith spectrum, there's no denying the fact that this itinerant carpenter from a backyard village miles from nowhere did more to change the world in 3 years without a passport or internet access than anyone who came before or after him. Are you curious enough to ask how a young man without such resources or resume accomplished so much? Let me introduce you to the most purpose-driven figure in history. Your faith is your faith. I didn't read that because I want everybody to give their life to Christ, although that would be wonderful. I read that because we have to have purpose. If you don't have purpose, what ends up happening is you walk through this world waiting to react. Instead of becoming an agent of change, you are changed by the agents. This is an opportunity for you to be really something special in your own life. The families are out there. I'm not asking you to be that affluent, accomplished family, to be that family worth $1 billion or $400 million or $50 million. I'm asking you to help that family that has that affluence navigate the journey with you. I'm asking you to get them there, helping keep their family and their generation intact, and their family and their children intact for generations. I'm asking you to find a purpose in being a CPA. And I couldn't have done that years ago because you were just too busy doing returns. But the future's not returns anymore. The future is the return you get on the life you've been given. And that's what's important. So for now, you get to say, I'm done with the horses. I don't need a faster horse. I need a car. And this is the car that's going to take me from here the rest of the way. And it's going to give me the ability to be the significant person I was created to be. You can do that as a CPA. When's the last time someone gave you a chance to start over right from where you're at? It's that simple. They're asking for it. They need it. Your clients are waiting for you. The families out there need help. Richard has made a tremendous impact on the families he's helping. So can you. Everything you need is right here. If you let go of this mental momentum, if you do not take hold of it, at least take and run with the momentum you have today, then you will regret it. Because the future is right there. It's right there. The question is, what are you going to do with it? You have the gift of a future. My friend doesn't. He might be gone already by the time I get home today. It's over for him. But the beautiful thing about it is he's going to a better place. My brother, who's just like you guys, works like a maniac. Works, I can't tell you how many hours a week, makes a great living. His two boys, 22 and 25, and him are going through something really difficult right now because they're all close to Paul, who's going to pass any day now. And what do you think that's going to do to my brother? He couldn't come yesterday or Sunday to the event that we had about significance and success because he was busy. Called me up, we talked to each other, and we talked about it. Tears. That's his wake-up call. You think he's going to waste the rest of his life chasing that corporate dollar? Doing what he's doing for a corporation that could replace him tomorrow? If your clients can replace you tomorrow, maybe you should think about what you're doing in life. The moment they can't replace you, then you've arrived. Become irreplaceable. Become exactly like nobody else. Become the person you were created to be. And let your business be the vehicle for you to make that significant impact on the lives of others. And I promise you, I will help you the whole way. We are behind you. We will support you. And together, we will leave a significant impact. We will leave some footprints and fingerprints that people won't just wash away, like cleaning up after a New Year's Eve party. Someone will say, you know what? My life was made better because Danelle walked this way. My life was made better because Coretti walked this way. My life was made better because Bruce walked this way and actually gave me a hand when I needed one. My life was made better because it was important for Bruce's life to be better. Let that be your story. It's a life worth living. Check that box at the end. That's my prayer for you. Don't tell me you don't have momentum. If you haven't got any momentum right now, if nothing has happened to you since Monday morning, then that's okay. And go home and be who you are. But if it has and you ignore that, this may be the only chance you get. Julius Caesar said, or in Julius Caesar, Shakespeare said, there's a tide taken in the affairs of men. When taken at the flood, it leads on to greatness. But if you miss that tide, if you miss that flood, if you miss that opportunity, they don't come around often. Maybe swimming out there forever against the tide. Take the flood. Lean into the shift. You are the paradigm. Thank you for